I've got Voltron's right arm, and a piece of the blazing sword. Is Mattel's Voltron collector's line worth the hoop jumping and the exorbitant price tag? Is this worth seeking out on your own? Stay tuned to find out. The Red Lion with Lance figure was released February 15th, 2012. Figure sold out immediately within 8 hours. Comes packed with the blazing sword, collect and connect, more on that later. The mouth blade, spare head for Lance, so he comes helmeted and unhelmeted. And of course, a figure stand for the figure. Now, I was really into the idea of an action figure themed based Voltron, specifically a Voltron that was going to accommodate 3 1/4 scale figures. The Star Wars figures and vehicles were what I started with. I moved into G.I. Joe. So the idea of being able to mix and match my Star Wars figures and Outer Spacemen and pilot Voltron with those guys was very appealing to me. So with all the hoo-ha, the back and forth over the design, whether or not for chromed legs, white legs, all of that, this grew on me. I was definitely excited about starting this up this year. All right, so one of the reasons I wanted to make you folks wait, as you'll see in this review, I wanted to take the time with the toy to actually play with it, put it through its paces, transform it back and forth a few times, and see if anything cropped up. You know, all these pre-reviews were glowing, but it didn't really look like they had really spent some time playing with the toys. So I wanted to put these through their paces before I kind of came back to you. So Lance figure looks great. The blue looks blue. Paint applications are neat. I'm not seeing any overspray, underspray issues. A little dot in the head there. A little triangle is neatly painted in. I like the clear lenses on the helmet. Articulation was fairly good. Ball socket in the chest. The only thing that bothered me about the whole look was the chest looks a little sloppy, the key, and there's some weird staining going on the figure. This didn't initially appear, but as I've had it out for a few weeks and play with it and handle it, you would think I was rolling this thing around in the dirt with these smudges that are showing up on the legs and there on the chest, and it doesn't really rub off. I'm not sure what's going on there, but just kind of cheap, you know? One thing I realized is while my right leg bends, my left leg doesn't. Why? Because I have 2 right thighs. That's right, I have 2 right thighs on mine. So mine is misassembled from the factory. Just all in all, just not really, like, initially it looked pretty, but the more I played with it, the more I'm disappointed with it. And, the gun doesn't even come out of the holster. Like, $15? Really? Like, I don't know what you guys are using, but the materials on the figure feel cheap. And, clearly there's just something wrong with the way they're putting the materials together at the factory, because it shouldn't be looking that sloppy just going from my shelf to my hand and back. And I swear I'm not playing with these things in the backyard, So how's the toy? I'm not going to lie, flying the Red Lion around is a lot of fun. It is a solid quality toy. It feels good in the hands. My Red Lion doesn't have any real quality control issues per se. The legs are tight. Looks good. The reds, pops just the right color in person. Then, the head there is on a nice tight ratchet joint. Jaw, nice tight ratchet joint. Legs have some ratcheting when they move forward there. And then about halfway as we move back, they kind of turn into the spring-loaded feature. Lower legs pretty much lock in the straight out position. They can be moved, but they will spring back. So, that has been a big complaint on a lot of collectors' part. Hasn't been a huge issue for me. Rear legs, almost no ratcheting there. It's all spring-loaded. When you move it back, it's all ratcheted there. So you can at least get it in a nice flying leg. Same thing there. It kind of locks in the straight position. You can move it around, but it will, the spring will snap it back. So even if you do kind of pose it like bent like that, it will still kind of pop. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I was really into this idea of 3 3/4 scale figures, being able to pilot my Voltron and mixing it up with my Star Wars stuff. And so let's see how this whole thing works out here. All right, so you got the key. Open the cockpit. Good news, though, you don't actually need the key to open the cockpit. Key you can just use as an action figure stand. Obviously, the lens fits, so let's try some other figures here. Let's see, my Rebel pilot Luke. No, that's not going to fit. All right, here, let's try Obi-Wan. He's probably my smallest, most articulated figure out of the Star Wars line. And hey, look at that, Obi-Wan fits. All right, how about Darth Vader? Right, Darth, you're going to be taking the red line for a spin? Probably not. No. Hey, Faden fits at least. So clearly, it's a tight fit. That's a super small cockpit. The Voltron figures themselves are pretty spindly. So I'm hoping that's an issue with the size of the arm lines, and that the other lines aren't going to be as locked in there. All right, so lots been made about this. Some folks called it a Fisher Price toy, and I can kind of get that summation. But I really like sort of the '80s toy vibe the whole thing has. This is like Mattel made the toy that they would have made had they had the license in 1980. Thus sort of the gimmicks and the features and sort of the simple toy-like aesthetic to it. And it's very clear that they went with more of a cartoon as an inspiration for the design instead of previous toys. So there you go. You see the legs just kind of lock in. Same thing with the rear legs. And I've seen a lot of folks having problems with this. The tabs are sort of semi-connected. So if you don't hang on to one leg while you snap the other one shut, odds are they're going to kind of snap out on you. As long as you hold on to them while you're closing those up, it's not going to be a big deal. And, of course, tail here is designed to spring out as well. So that's the whole gimmick here. This one-touch, quote-unquote, transformation is not one touch. And it's not designed to make the lions spring into Voltron. It's meant to make it easy to put them back into lion mode when you're disassembling Voltron. So obviously, from all of this, without all the lions, we can only glean what the assembled Voltron is going to be like. So let's take a look at his arm. How is it? Well, let's see here. First thing I want to point out is I really like this shoulder joint. This is a proper ratchet joint. May be hard to see in the video, but there are teeth that click, and that whole part is being held in place. It has a spring pressed up against it, and it's just very tight and solid when you move it. It really feels like that's going to support the weight of the arm in the fully assembled Voltron. The ratchet joints in the mouth and hands are obviously going to allow you to hold the sword without it sort of flopping over. And the elbow here, unfortunately, doesn't rotate. I'm flabbergasted that it doesn't turn. It's clearly because the way they decided to design this. Now, there's a tight ratchet joint here on the elbow. It works really, really well. Really feels like it's going to hold the shape and pose. But without a ratchet joint there, you are really limiting the posability of this figure, and it is incredibly disappointing. Even more so here. You see that paint chipping off? That's right. They have a friction ratchet joint here, and there's a tab on the red inner wall there that rubs up against it, and it's rubbing off the paint. That's right, folks. Mattel opted to paint a friction joint that's going to have a lot of pressure applied to it. It's solidly constructed, but obviously that makes for a really ugly thing that when you're handling your lion, again, it's not going to show up super well here in the video, but when I'm playing with it now, I can see it. And even more so, I've got stuff that is, like paint's beginning to wear off here. So they did not mold this in color. And this is not, despite our initial thoughts that this was going to be attached to the Red Lion, it is not. These are separate pieces. These could have easily have been manufactured in molded color. And I think that has to be one of the most boneheaded maneuvers I've seen in the high-end collectible market for a while. And no matter what this looks like, for the price you're charging people, it is a high-end collectible. And that is just almost unforgivable. All right, so, and to go back to Lion mode, here's where the buttons and the one-touch gimmick kind of comes in for you. It's pretty straightforward. A lot of folks made a big deal about this. I'm kind of fine with it. It's pretty straightforward. Just hit the button and bam, legs snap out. They do stay where they're supposed to unless you hit that button. So it's not really an issue of them springing out on their own. Same thing with the rear here. You just kind of hit the button. Sorry, being clumsy here. And bam, legs snap out. Fortunately, the feet don't flatten out for you, and you still got to lock them into the sort of the straight position. But he does kind of go into this crouching pose. I don't know if that's intentional or if the front legs are misfiring, but it works, so I'm fine with it. I like it. I'm really happy with it. It's a lot of fun to pick up. I fiddle with the thing every day, have every day since I've gotten it. But it's just the quality control issues on the figure, and I'm not the only one who's had these issues. There's been a whole range of issues reported by people who've gotten theirs in, and basically there's been a lot of reports of missing accessories, missing the alternate head for Lance, or missing the Collect and Connect blazing sword piece, or missing the key stand. It hasn't been consistent. It's always some disparate thing. My Lance came with 2 right thighs. A lot of folks are reporting that like the yellow inserts aren't being applied to theirs. The stickers inside the cockpit being crooked. Now I'm lucky. Mine are all nice and straight. I lucked out on that. So I've seen a lot of folks, and this is probably the bigger issue, folks having these springs for this snap out action leaking out already. Some of this stuff wouldn't be a big deal if these were mass produced and you could walk into the store and buy these off the shelf, because you'd have a chance to eyeball it and go, oh no, that one's kind of a bum one, I'll get this one. But we are easily paying twice the price. This is $65 after shipping, and we chose the cheapest shipping possible to keep costs down. So $65 for what is essentially a vehicle and action figure. And they can't even be bothered to make sure that what is shipping to folks is complete and correct. This is just a lack of attention to detail. And speaking of lack of attention to detail, if you look at the packaging, on the back of the package, they even have Voltron misassembled. It's really like, for some reason or another, they decided they were going to commit to making this thing, but their heart is not in it whatsoever. They certainly don't seem to have an appreciation for what it means to appeal to the collector market. You're charging a premium price tag for this is really what I'm trying to get to. And this is not cheap, especially in this economy. When it's all said and done, we're going to be paying well over $400 for your Voltron. And it's not a lot to ask that the fit and finish be exact, that things like the springs and the action features you've insisted on putting these things work, is not a lot to ask. Mine is, it feels good. Nothing feels like it's falling off. But, look here at the seaming. This is just awful. That's not breaking apart. That's just the way it's assembled. It's really kind of unacceptable. I really want to recommend this line to folks, but with the laundry list of issues and the mediocre customer service. So to be fair, after 5.5 weeks, Matty Collector has finally gotten around to saying, yeah, let's go ahead and exchange that figure. It took 4 emails because clearly the customer service is outsourced somewhere where English is not the primary language. And the problem with the exchange program is that they want me to now send back everything, the lion, the accessories, the whole kit and caboodle, just to get a figure exchanged. It's just being handled very poorly, and I'm really of the mindset of just kind of keeping what I have because everything else is fine. It's not the way you want to feel when you're spending that kind of money with a company. Can't recommend this. I suspect there'll be a gift set before the year is over. You may want to hold out for that. If you're still interested, I get that. I can get wanting one of these, but do not buy it on the aftermarket. With all the issues listed, you really run the risk of getting a bum piece and having no means to exchange it or deal with it once it's all said and done. If you already have one, well, obviously you're probably subscribed or you grab one on day one, you can continue to do that, then hey, more power to you. You're dealing with Maddie. If you really get a poopy one, you're supposed to be able to get it exchanged. So, it's a lot of hassle, but it can be done, and you've got a recourse there. With the resellers, you don't. So if you haven't been on this already, I'm saying pass, wait for the inevitable Maddie Monday, where they have the gift set they're blowing out at half the price, much to the chagrin of those of us who are paying full price right now. So that's it in a nutshell. Couple of things I do really want to point out real quick, and it kind of goes back to that paying attention to little things. The mouth here, the mouth blade is very nicely designed. Colored perfectly. I'm fine with it. Nice little divots to make sure that it holds in between the teeth. But they have stamped the made in China in a position where it faces out when the blade is properly placed in the lion's mouth. That's like, really, guys? Like, nobody noticed that? Kind of like the elbow joint. Nobody thought, that might not work. People start posing their Voltron and, they're scraping paint off. No, apparently nobody bothered to, put it through its paces and think that through. So, just kind of, the other thing before I wrap this up, I do want to point out that when they initially listed the subscription, the club went up. We, of course, posted the news for it. And I copy and pasted the subscription information directly from Mattel's collector site. So all of this here is sort of my surmising what's going on. And down in here, I want to point out that they originally advertised that we were getting a Collect and Connect. Let me zoom down here. Collect and Connect light up sword. Now, since then, we have gotten something completely different. They have obviously, for those who don't know, they extended their subscription 2 or 3 times, their deadline, so to speak, and they apparently somewhere in there re-updated this to say Collect and Connect Ultra Blazing Sword. So some of us bought into this thinking that we were going to get a Collect and Connect Blazing Sword that was going to have an energy ribbon on it that would light up. Somewhere in there, they kind of bait and switched you and didn't make it very publicly known that they were doing that. So I got my sword handle here, and I'm like, oh, it's supposed to light up. How's that light up? It looks like it's clear in the middle. It should light up. No, doesn't light up. So the little things, Maddie Collector, the little things. Not impressed. Thanks for watching, folks. Till next time, I'm Adam.
Give it dog. Oh, get the what?
Hi, I'm Missy. I say hello. You called me. Start talking.